You're looking at me and thinking, you're not that guy, pal. And you might even cop some ridicule if you think that I am. And that's on you, my friend. I know that I'm not the glossy brochure version of success. I'm not the yacht moored off Monaco guy. I'm not the barefoot on the beach with a MacBook guy. In fact, I'm 30. My hairline's receding. I'm probably hideously overweight. There's a fair chance there's a stain on my t-shirt right now. And my bottom teeth look like they've been playing Tetris since birth.
That's bait.
That's part of the reason why I didn't show my face for a while. It's not because I'm some mysterious, elusive marketing wizard.
You're a wizard.
It's because I know exactly how quickly people make assumptions, and they don't make them gently. This is a thing called the halo effect, and in my case it's more like the battered repeatedly over the head with a saucepan effect. The halo effect is a psychological quirk where one positive trait makes you assume that they harbour all the others as well. Attractive? Well, they must be competent. Sharp suit? Well, they must be intelligent. Six-pack? Well, they must understand the stock market and know how to fix my leaky tap. People love to fill in the blanks, as long as the first box they tick is a good one.
Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
Whoa! I have just one thing to say to you.
When you don't tick that first box, you start off on the back foot. So I thought, fine, let's just hide the foot entirely. No face, no judgment, right? But that's not exactly how trust works. In business or in life, if people can't see you, they struggle to believe you. The halo effect isn't just a party trick your brain plays at the pub. It's used deliberately by businesses. That's why every high-end steakhouse you visit has dimmed lights, leather chairs, and the waiter that looks like he's just received his first Nobel Prize. You don't know the steak will be good, but the packaging it's delivered in tells you it will be. Apple does this with their stores. White walls, minimalist tables, staff in black t-shirts to make them look like they're in some Apple-branded cult. You feel like you're buying into genius and not just purchasing a phone that needs a new charger every 6 months. Starbucks does it with your name on the cup. You believe it's personalization, but actually it's just an $8 latte with your name spelt wrong. Now imagine if these companies hid everything. No storefront, no staff, no packaging. Now I'm looking at you, Argos. You just receive a dodgy text message that says, please send £999 and you'll receive a new iPhone. You wouldn't buy it, because you haven't seen anything that earns your trust. And that's where I went wrong. By removing my face, I thought I was removing a barrier. But instead, I was drowning in my own insecurity. What I was actually doing was making people feel less safe. Whether we like it or not, our brains are still wired for the campfire. If I can't look you in the eye, you assume I might run off with your mammoth steak.
You stole my candy bar!
There's actual research on this. The Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that seeing a person's face increased trust, perceived reliability, and sometimes even the value of what you're selling. All about giving your audience less mental work to do. They see a face, they make a call, and they decide whether or not they're in. But it can just become, well, awkward. The truth is, some people are just born with a cheat code. Perfect jawline, symmetrical face, hair that doesn't look like it's trying to stage a walkout at 28, and it literally was 28. You could hand them a packet of crisps and they'd still convince you it's Michelin-starred cuisine. It's the same reason why Ryan Gosling could probably sell you a dodgy timeshare in a floodplain, whereas if I did it, you'd probably be Googling fraud reporting hotline before I'd even finish my pitch. In common psychology, that's called pretty privilege, and in business, they often call it aesthetic advantage, probably to make them feel better about the fact that they haven't got it. Now, of course, I'm not exactly Quasimodo, but I'm not really the guy you put on the front of your recruitment brochure, and that's fine, unless you're selling something. We assume that good-looking people are competent, charming, and honest, even if the only thing they've ever managed is their skincare routine. Meanwhile, if you look a bit real life, you've got to work twice as hard to make sure it doesn't look like you're running a side hustle in crypto scam. So maybe I'm not your guy. But in business, not being the shiny, polished option can actually work in your favor. The reverse of the halo effect can also be true too. Hopefully, when you do win someone's trust, it's not just because you look like you belong on the cover of GQ. Hopefully, it's because you can deliver. And that kind of trust sticks around long term far more than bone structure. There's an interesting thing about pretty. If there's too much polish, people start to wonder what you're hiding. If a brand looks like it's been airbrushed to oblivion, you have a subconscious alarm bell that screams, this is all for show, isn't it? This is a facade, surely. You can often feel that uncanny valley effect. It's the same reason why showroom kitchens in IKEA or your local kitchen hut don't look like people actually make food in them. They look more like a backdrop to a life that nobody actually lives in. It's 2025 and authenticity isn't a buzzword anymore. Perfect is now suspicious. People are looking for brands, brand leaders, CEOs and ambassadors to show their rough edges. A t-shirt stain, the dogs barking in the background, a CEO that doesn't look like they've been grown in a Silicon Valley lab. Innocent Drinks started in 1998 without perfect, slick advertising. They started with hand-drawn labels and jokes so bad they'd make your local Christmas cracker maker guy blush. Ben & Jerry's was founded by two guys that look like your mate's older brothers than two corporate executives. Patagonia is run by an outdoorsman who never pretended to like being a CEO. He's been unapologetically himself. So maybe I'm not your guy in the Ryan Gosling sense, but I am the guy that will tell you the truth, even when it's messy. And in a world drowning in curated perfection, that's a surprisingly rare currency. And the more they believe you, the more they buy into you. So why do you still not trust me? That's not an accusation, by the way, that's just statistics. Our brains are wired to look for reasons why not to trust someone before we look for reasons why to trust them. In psychology, they call it negativity bias, and in marketing, they often call it conversion friction. In everyday life, it's that little voice in your head that says, all right, mate, prove it, show me. Trust isn't magic. We believe people when they've been around long enough for us to feel familiar. We believe people when others can vouch for them. And we believe people when they deliver on their promises without hiding behind convoluted jargon or fake smiles. And yes, we believe them when we've seen their face enough time that they don't now feel like a stranger's or strange. That's why businesses obsess over reviews, testimonials, and case studies. It's really the reason why I'm here showing my face now. Because you can watch me in my other videos, and whether you like me or not, your brain will go, ah, familiar. That's safe. Safe enough to buy into, safe enough to buy from. So if you're still not sold, that's fine. That's normal. Go watch another couple of my videos, disagree with me, pick apart what I say. And when you circle back here in a month or so and realize you recognize or have memorized my voice, congratulations, you've discovered trust. And we just sort of built it together like a family of trust builders. There's always that awkward moment when the business puts the CEO or puts a person front and center, whether or not that's like the about pages or the CEO interviews or blog posts. Because at the end of the day, people buy from other people. And if you think you're the exception, you're not. You're just the person who hasn't shown their face yet.